Yes, hi there, Victor Pross speaking today at you. So the Wicked Witch is dead. Bin Laden has been killed. And now it's time for the conspiracy theorists to come out by the bushel barrel. And I guess it's that subject that I want to talk about more so than going into any great detail of Bin Laden. It's well, I guess I want to talk about conspiracy theorists because I know they'll be coming out by the bushel barrel. I was talking with my brother about this last night. Well, okay, the basically the faults. I have a problem with conspiracy theorists. I know a lot of people just lump conspiracy theorists and anarchists as interchangeable people. It just isn't the case at all. That's not to say that there aren't anarchists who engage in these type of theories and wanting to know how buildings implode and collapse and how fast or how metal burns and blah blah blah. The whole axis, right? Some of the arguments and some of the evidence that is advanced is very compelling, very logical. It does make you stop and pause and think about what they have to say. But but the beef that I have with conspiracy theorists is that they're proceeding from an entirely false premise. Okay, they're going to great lengths trying to illegitimize government by referring to all these type of incidences without just going to for the moral argument. Um, it's no wonder that a lot of conspiracy theorists aren't anarchists. In fact, a lot of them are constitutionalists. They advocate a great deal of them are libertarians. They advocate quote unquote small government or constitutionally based government, and they do believe in government, but they're taking great haste to illegitimize government in its current parlance, such as it is today, right? So the attempt to discredit it and to I guess in a heroic way of returning government to its proper functions as what they would define as its proper functions. And so the government as they find it today, they're trying to find out all types of means of discrediting it. But so in other words, they do believe that government, is a legitimate institution that become corrupt. But the anarchist understands that the government is corrupt. Okay, it is corruption. It's not a legitimate institution that can become corrupt. It is corrupt by the very nature of it. There is no government in history that has ever been established by voluntary cooperation of people. All governments in history, no matter what type of government, no matter in what period of history, and no matter what part of the globe, all of them have been established by force and are maintained by force. It is the moral argument that makes the case against government, and not whether Oswald was a lone gunman, not 9/11 and imploding buildings and or is Bin Laden really dead, or is it just a cover up, or has he been dead for years now and only now are they springing out the Bin Laden dead death parade, because the elections are coming up and blah, blah, blah. This is completely irrelevant and a completely false way to proceed. It does not establish a case for a free society whatsoever. Now, a lot of these arguments can be very compelling. I'm entirely aware of that. I know that we don't. It's not necessarily wise to just dismiss the type of arguments and evidence that conspiracy theorists that can bring forth. And one such individual that comes to mind is Jesse Ventura. I mean, he's pretty. He's a very intelligent guy. I mean, if there's a man who has sparkling credentials, it would be him. And he has like. I know that in 1963 that anybody who ventured to speculate or conjecture that Oswald was not necessarily a lone gunman, I mean they were dismissed as crackpots at the time, just dismissed out of hand. But with the accumulative years of investigation and compiling evidence, we've come to appreciate the fact that of Oswald being a lone gunman seems just absolutely ridiculous. We have physics coming into the to the fore, with the whole thing of the magic bullet and etc. So, 40 years plus later, of course, we have the advantage of hindsight. And we have an entirely different look at the Kennedy assassination today than we did in 1963. But let me just maintain the point. You do not have to use you don't have to use the Kennedy assassination and wild conjectures as to Bin Laden being dead or not, or to what purpose it would be reported now, and imploding buildings, 9/11. You don't have to proceed from that. Just take it from this consideration. I mean, let's say that you're trying to legitimize the Ku Klux Klan. Well, you don't try to dig up evidence if the Grand Poobah or the wizard or whatever the hell the head honcho was called. You don't have to venture into little speculations like, yeah, I wonder if he's really a white guy. I wonder if he has like some Jewish blood in his background. Yeah, you don't have to do that. All you have to know is that the Ku Klux Klan, by the very nature of this organization, of this group of people aggregating around campfires and burning crosses, all you have to know at the very nature of this type of assembly, that they're corrupt, that they're wrecked, damaged people, evil people. And you don't have to find all these wild conspiracies regarding specific instances or individuals who are involved in such an organization. So what's true for the Ku Klux Klan is certainly true for the government. Never mind if 9/11 is a cover-up or not. Never mind if the CIA or the mafia was involved in the Kennedy shooting, and never mind any wild speculations. Please, I don't want to hear them about Bin Laden. All we have to know is that the government, by the very nature of this institution, is completely illegitimate, and it's illegitimate based on an ethical argument. You have to focus on the ethical argument if we're going to advance society to outgrow this ancient, blood-soaked Leviathan social fiction. Thank you.